If our people are able to learn from this Ghana case, if our people are able to learn one vital lesson, just one alone, and that lesson is that every action attracts a consequence, I would say that all in all, what happened in Ghana was good. At present, our people don't know that actions attract consequences. Of course, I know why they don't have this realization. It is because of their present religious disposition. They are not in the right religion, so they are not able to put one and one together to get two in most circumstances. But do consequences of mistakes stop coming because you do not know? No. Even if you do not know about a particular law, but you fall afoul of the law, a legal position that is virtually constant in all jurisdictions holds that ignorance of the law is no excuse for violating the law, is no defense in law. Our people forgot that we are not supposed to have humans who would become like gods over them. Our people forgot this because that is essentially what kings are. Mention any realm in which you have a king and that king did not become like a god. Mention just one and you will win a handsome prize. And the Igbos were warned in antiquity not to fall into that trap. Even the most sick, the most lunatic among the Igbos will not dispute what I'm going to say hereafter. There are two very popular sayings of the Igbos. Igbo Amweze. Igbo Amweze means Igbos don't recognize kings. The second one is Igbo Enweze. It means Igbos don't have kings. The roots are, of course, in the Israelite tradition. My friends who come from the rabbinic tradition, some of them had difficulties understanding what is so explicit in the Torah. Israel was not supposed to have kings. Israel got kings out of pure disobedience because they think about what Judaism calls the Messianic times, when a king is supposed to appear and lead the people to righteousness. They misunderstand what the Bible was saying essentially, that we are not supposed to live under any kind of king apart from God. That was from where the Igbos took away Igbo Amweze and the Igbo Enweze, and whom we will call the poet laureate, one of the brightest minds of the 20th and the early 21st century, who came from them, Chinua Achebe, came close to explaining what I just explained without bringing in the Israelite context, because there was, even though he wrote the foreword of the book called Igbo Rabbi, Achebe left history for people like me who studied up to PhD in corresponding disciplines to handle the issue of Igbo history. Achebe said that he believes that there was a time in the past when the Igbos were mishandled by kings and they developed a hatred for the authoritarian. My brothers and sisters, how did Rehoboam handle the Israelites? How did even Solomon handle them? How did even David handle them? Even Saul? The story did not end well. Because once empowered, a human is a human. I come from a family that has been Obi for 400 years, and I know what power means. People that look at me and look at the way I tell the Igbos, return to the right path. You shall not have a human as a king over you. Do not know that if the Igbos are to have kings, I'll be one of them. Because my family can say and prove without any argument that we have been Obi for 400 years. The Obi is a position that is identical to the judge in biblical Israel. That's what my family has been for 400 years. So, but Igbos don't know that the British had already put them in trouble by giving them warrant chiefs. So what did they begin to do? They began to look at the Yoruba, they began to look at the Fulani, they began to look at the Hausa, they began to look at the Bini, and began to imagine themselves living under authoritarian. So what did they begin to do? They began to call their Obi and leftovers of the warrant chiefs that the British left to spy against them. They began to turn them into caricatures of kings so that they will be like the Yoruba, so that they will be like the Fulani, so that they will be like the Hausa, so that they will be like all the others. They forgot. Again, they forgot their history. They were supposed to be Israelites. They were not supposed to be Canaanites. They were not supposed to be Egyptians. And when they choose to be like the Egyptians and the Canaanites, of course, there will be consequences. I lost a very valuable friendship because I was telling a friend who lives, let me not call the country so that I will not embarrass him. I was telling him, you shall not be an Igbo. You are inviting problems, both for yourself and your children yet unborn, because of ephemeral satisfaction that Igbos will gather around him. They will wear very embarrassing robes and dance like clowns. He refused. And the Igbos in the country call him as Igbo. And I was ready to sacrifice the friendship because if you are my friend or if you are my brother, I must tell you the truth. So, this Igbo young man, obviously from a humble background, we all came from economically humble backgrounds because the Igbos generally did not participate in the slave trade. And again, another subject that he saw. From 1900 to 1966, what the Igbos did was to try to build their lives back together, their lives that were disrupted by British colonialism and imperialism. From 1967 to 1970, everything was destroyed. Every Igbo became poor. So what did we do? We all started from scratch. This Igbo guy went to Ghana, and God blessed him. He made money. How did he want to continue? He wanted to become the king of the Igbos in Ghana. He wanted to become the kings of the Igbos in Ghana. And because God wants to be kind again to the Igbos, God allowed the Ghanaians to see through what he was doing. And if Igbos in Ghana don't escape expulsion, because the Ghanaians are up in arms, the Ghanaians who had reasons to be unhappy with the Igbos, as every native population is unhappy with the shopkeeping class. It's everywhere. It's just natural. It happens to be compounded in the case of the Igbos because of the question of anti-Semitism. They are believably the largest owning class in Ghana. So what's going on? The Ghanaians added this to the provocation that this dude wants to be a king in Ghana, and they are saying Igbos will have to leave their country. Why? Because Igbos don't know that actions invite consequences. But if Igbos learn from this, if those who are not yet caught, those in Israel, those in Lagos, those in Abuja, those in Chicago, those everywhere who are fooling themselves that they are kings of the Igbos, everywhere, including in Igbo land, if they have not yet been caught, if they want power, let them go for elections. let them tell all the Igbos to elect them into positions of authority and let them take the title President of Igbo Association. If we have ears, let us listen. If we don't have ears, let us keep walking into danger. Thank you.